They abandoned her for being too small, until a giant Comanche built her a home. Chapter 1. The Little One Left Behind. The wind across the plains carried more than dust that morning. It carried whispers. Whispers of men who left, of women who wept, and of one small girl who stood too quietly to be seen. The settlement was moving again, the wagons creaking under the weight of what little they owned. Winter was coming, and the riverlands had already frozen thin. The leader's voice echoed across the camp, commanding haste, but no one noticed the child crouched behind a broken barrel. She couldn't have been more than 12, small for her age, her wrists like twigs and her eyes too big for her face. Her name was Anna May, born too early, grown too slow, and loved too little. When her mother died of fever and her father took another wife, Anna became the burden. The new woman didn't like her pale silence, her habit of staring at the sky, or how she ate so little yet looked like a shadow that refused to vanish. So when the caravan packed to move south, they left her behind. No one said her name. No one looked back. The girl watched until the dust of their leaving became part of the horizon. Then she sat in the empty camp, her hands around her knees, shivering in the shadow of a dying fire. For a while, she thought she would die there. But the plains were wide and full of unseen eyes. The Comanche hunter, Tayan, was a man whose shadow frightened coyotes. He stood taller than most, with arms carved by the bow and years of riding. He was a man of few words and fewer smiles, known among his people as the Quiet Storm. That day, he was tracking a wounded elk through the wind-bent grass when he saw the small figure near the ruins of the white settler camp. At first, he thought she was a ghost, the way she stood still, her hair tangled by wind, her dress in rags. He circled her from a distance, careful and silent, watching. But when he saw her stumble, saw the rawness of her feet and the frost on her lips, the hunter's heart, that old, patient heart, broke a little. He approached slowly. Anna didn't move when she heard the horse. She was too tired to be afraid. The giant Comanche dismounted, his shadow falling over her like a mountain. "You are alone?" he asked in halting English. Her eyes fluttered open, dry and dull. "They left me." Tayan looked toward the empty trail. "Your people?" She nodded. The wind howled between them. Tayan's gaze softened. He saw bones too light, skin too cold. She wouldn't survive the night. He wrapped his cloak around her without a word, lifted her like a bird fallen from the nest, and carried her to his horse. She didn't resist. Her head fell against his chest. That night, under the cold stars of the southern plains, a giant Comanche built a fire, and a small girl who had been abandoned found warmth for the first time since she could remember. When Anna woke, she was in a tepee of hide and wood, surrounded by the scent of cedar smoke and herbs. A woman, older, with silver hair braided down her back, offered her water. "You are safe," the woman said softly in broken English. "Tayan found you. You rest." Anna looked around. Children's laughter echoed outside. She could hear the beat of drums somewhere in the distance. Not war, but life. Days passed. Tayan visited her camp each morning, bringing meat, berries, and carved wooden toys for the children who peeked at her shyly. He didn't speak much, but when he did, his voice was deep and calm, like the earth. He watched her strength return. He taught her to sit beside the fire, to stitch leather with bone needles, to braid her hair so the wind wouldn't steal it. When the tribe elders asked him, "Why do you keep the small white child?" he said only, "Because the wind left her at my door." And no one questioned him again. One evening, as the sun bled over the horizon, Anna sat by the river, skipping stones. Her hands were raw but strong now. Her cheeks, once pale, glowed with warmth. Tayan stood behind her, silent, watching her laughter ripple through the water. He had not heard that sound before, not from her, not from himself. "Why do you look at me like that?" she asked, shyly smiling without turning. He paused. "Because you remind me that small things do not die easily." Her smile faded into a soft quiet. "I was too small," she whispered. "That's why they left me." Tayan knelt beside her, the earth groaning beneath his weight. "Too small for them," he said, "but not for this world. You are strong now. The plains see you. I see you." Anna's heart beat faster. No one had ever said such words to her, not like that, not with such calm certainty. For the first time, she began to believe them. The stars came out, one by one, reflected in the river like scattered diamonds. She looked up at the tall warrior beside her, his quiet presence, his hands that had built her shelter, his patience that had taught her to live again. And though she was still small, the world suddenly felt vast and kind. That night, Tayan watched her from the edge of his campfire, the flames flickering across his eyes. He didn't understand the feeling in his chest, only that the silence of his heart had changed since the day he found her. He had built her a home to protect her. But something deeper was being built between them, slow as dawn, steady as breath. The cabin of the giant. The snow fell that winter like whispers from the sky, soft, endless, and clean. The Comanche camp had moved deeper into the shelter of the river valley, where the wind bent around the rocks instead of through them. Anna had grown stronger with the seasons. Her hair, once tangled and pale, now shone like threads of wheat. She could ride a small pony, fetch water from the stream, and cook meat over the fire without burning her hands. Yet in her heart there still lingered a small ache, a feeling that she did not belong fully to either world. Tayan saw it. He saw everything. He was a man of earth and patience. His hands could break a branch like straw, yet they touched her hair as if afraid it would vanish. He never called her white girl as others did. To him she was Naita, the little light. One morning, when the snow melted and the rivers began to swell, Tayan told her to ride with him. "Where are we going?" she asked, clutching the horse's mane. "To see something that needs building," he replied. They rode until the plains gave way to a small hollow, hidden by trees. The air there smelled of pine and rain. A stream wound through it like a silver ribbon. Birds darted between the branches, singing as if to greet them. Tayan stopped his horse, dismounted, and looked around. "This," he said, spreading his arms wide, "is where your home will stand." Anna blinked, unsure if she'd heard right. "My home." He nodded. "You cannot live in tents forever. You are not one of us, not by blood, but this land can be yours too. You will have a cabin. Warm, strong, safe." Her throat tightened. "You'd build that for me?" Tayan smiled slightly, the kind of smile that softened the hard lines of his face. "Not for you, Naita. With you." The days that followed became a memory carved into her heart. He taught her how to shape wood, how to drive pegs, how to stack logs so that no wind could slip between them. She watched him work, each swing of his axe measured and steady. When the sun burned his back, she brought him water. When his hands split, she wrapped them with cloth. The sound of the axe and her laughter mingled in the air. Sometimes, when she dropped a beam or stumbled on a tool, he would chuckle, a low, rare sound like thunder softened by distance. "Small hands," he'd tease, "but strong spirit." And she'd grin. "Big hands," she'd reply, "but too slow." He'd shake his head, smiling in that quiet way that said everything words could not. By midsummer, the cabin stood proud and finished, logs sealed tight, roof covered with cedar bark, and a small window that looked toward the river. It was humble, yet to Anna it was a castle. Tayan stood at the doorway, silent, as she stepped inside for the first time. Her fingers brushed over the smooth wood. "It's beautiful," she whispered. He nodded. "It will hold through storm and time." She turned, her eyes shimmering. "You built this with your hands. for someone they left behind. He took a deep breath. I built it because you stayed. The words hung between them, heavy and tender. Then he reached into his belt pouch and pulled out a small carved pendant, shaped like the sun and the moon joined together. Comanche say, two spirits walk when the moon touches the day. You are one. I am the other. Anna hesitated. Tayan. He placed it in her palm. You are small, but you carry more light than the sky. If you stay, this will be your home. If you go, it will still wait for you. Her eyes filled with tears. I have nowhere else to go. He nodded once. Then you are home. Seasons changed again. They lived side by side, she tending to the hearth, he hunting and teaching her the language of the wild. The tribe came often, bringing laughter and stories. In time, the people stopped calling her White Girl. They called her Tayan's Light, and the name stayed. Sometimes, at dusk, she'd stand by the river and watch him return from the hills, tall, silent, carrying firewood or fresh game. The sight filled her chest with a warmth she couldn't name. And one evening, as the wind turned golden and soft, she found him sitting outside the cabin, sharpening his knife. Tayan, she said gently, sitting beside him. When I was little, they said I was too small to be worth keeping. He looked at her. They were blind. She smiled, tears trembling on her lashes. And you built me a home. He reached out, his large hand cupping her cheek with infinite care. No, Naita. You built me peace. The world went still. The air between them trembled, not with fear, but something older, deeper. She leaned forward, resting her forehead against his chest. His heartbeat was steady, strong, and she felt it echo within her. Two lives that had begun in silence now beat together beneath the same sky. Years later, travelers would pass by the edge of the valley and see smoke curling from a cabin chimney. They'd hear laughter, a woman's soft and clear, a man's deep and patient. And when they asked the Comanche about it, the answer was always the same. The giant built her a home, and she filled it with love. Because some hearts aren't bound by blood, or tribe, or even fate. Some are simply built, log by log, day by day, until they stand unshakable against the wind.